A Sudden Jolt of Energy by Anonpencil. Oh, Anon? Jesus fucking Christ, Twilight. Not so loud! You groan in frustration. Twilight winces back, but doesn't look too surprised. She's probably used to this sort of reaction by now. You'd feel worse if it wasn't for that eternal splitting headache. Never mind, she mutters, and trots off to go find something to do that doesn't involve you. Good riddance, you think, not really meaning it. Since your arrival in Ponyville, things have been weird. You're stressed all the time, and you feel twitchy. You yell at everyone. Then again, that's all probably to be expected from a caffeine addict. It's also probably because pony coffee is pretty much swill, and lacks any sort of kick. Of course, ponies would only drink decaf. Lightweights. You've asked Pinky a few times where she gets her energy, but every time her eyes have just dilated and she's hissed the word frosting in low, reverent tones. You're not sure what exactly she means by that, but from her tone, you're pretty sure that it's illegal. You're not quite that desperate yet, after all. Since you arrived, you've only been too upset by all this to even look at the bag you've had on you when you were stuck here. You know for a fact the shirt in there has a coffee stain on it, and the very idea of the smell would probably send you into a crying, shaking fit of withdrawal. The bag sits forgotten in a corner now, taunting you on occasion, especially on days like today. You can feel a lack of caffeine in your veins. You can feel your brain call out the word over and over again like a prayer. You need the stuff, any of it. Suddenly, the prospect of that bag is getting too much for you. Maybe if you could just smell that coffee stain, lick it a little, get anything to remind you of that deliciousness from home. You tell your body not to do it. It doesn't listen. In a flash, you're over at your bag, tearing open the zipper, breaking it permanently. You don't even care. You rifle through the clothes in a duffel, at least finding the dress shirt. The telling brown stain across the front beckons to you, and you bury your face in it with a soft moan of pleasure. Dear sweet Colombian bean god that smells like heaven! You sniff the shirt again and again, continuing to moan with each breath. Then all at once, something catches your eye. A glint of blue in the corner of your bag. Oh, hello. What's... Like the strike of a lightning bolt, you remember exactly what this is. How could you have forgotten? Was it the shock of being sent to this world? Was it your own blind stupidity? Were you secretly saving it from yourself? With trembling hands, you carefully pull back the cloth and lift your long-sought prize from the bag. Glinting in the low light of the tree library, you look upon a full 6-pack of bottles of a long-forgotten relic. Electric, Blue, Jolt, Cola. You choke back a sob of joy. You'd bought the stuff as something to put on a shelf, a sign of things long past. The soda had stopped being made a while ago. Well, except in a few places and this 6-pack was from the original batch. You glance at the expiration date and find it was years ago. While part of you wants to deserve this ancient artifact, you also have a large, shrieking, shit-flinging monkey on your back. Besides, if they're expired, they might be fermented by now or something. You know what you must do. With an anguished, wailing cry, you force open the first bottle and down it in one long, gargling swallow. It tastes something like raspberries. If they'd rolled in our old hockey socks, and then rolled on by an autistic Saint Bernard. You don't even care. You feel a rise in your bloodstream, a surge through you. Oh God, you've wanted this. You've missed this. Not even feeling your own hands. You open another and another, downing one after another in quick succession. Your starved body absorbs all, not caring what horrible chemical reactions may occur from drinking expired energy soda. You love this feeling. But still, wait. Somewhere deep inside of you, you sense more than feeling your senses leaving you. You feel like you can barely see. As you finish the last one, your body cries out in a small child's voice. Water. Something. Anything. Something is wrong here. You stumble to the counter. Everything silting and swaying with the sugar and artificial everything infiltrating your brain. As you stumble and start to fall, you grab for something. Anything. Your hand finds a bottle and you grasp it. As you shake, trembling to the floor, your vision going white and black around the edges, you have time to focus on one more thing. The bottle in your hand. It's cider. From Applejack's farm. As you lose all sense of yourself, the logo of a large red apple is the last thing you see. It's a mighty bright day in Ponyville. The perfect kind of day for fixing up the old and rotten boards on the family barn. You wipe the sweat from your orange freckled cheek with a satisfied nod. The sun is getting awfully high in the sky, and you're pretty tuckered out. But there's still more wood to replace. A pony work is never done, you suppose. Still, you kinda wish you'd have one with those magic types like Twilight or Rarity, so you didn't have to use your mouth for everything. Nails taste bitter and rusty in your teeth, and gripping a hammer in the meantime sure is right challenge. You've had it harder though. Shucks. This is nothing compared to an apple bucking season. Besides, Granny Smith's got fresh lemonade for you when you finish. You can about taste that cool refreshing drink, just thinking about it. You glance up from your work and spot a familiar form striding your way. He looks a little fuzzy from this far, but as he gets closer, you recognise your human friend, Anon. He's walking with a determined look in his eye, and his hands are balled up in fists. His face is blank, pale, and focused on something in front of him, and you can't quite see it. Why, it's that look that Twilight gets when she has some silly project she's working on. Poor fella. Must be stressed about something. He has been grumpy lately. Maybe Granny Smith has some of that lemonade done now. Looks like he could use a drink, even if he doesn't care or seem to like the drinks here. You're happy to offer it. You raise a hoof and wave it as Anon. Fucking hell, I can't even talk. At Anon as he stomps past the barn, still staring straight ahead. Well, howdy, Anon. Care to stop and shoot the breeze a while? He halts mid-stride and turns really slow to look at you. His eyes seem like they're peering straight through you. It makes you right uneasy, but you show your kindest smile. After a moment, he wanders over to you like some sort of zombie. As he gets closer, you can see his face is all twitchy like. It's strange, but you don't say anything. He stops in front of you and raises a hand just up to your shoulder. Sorry, his shoulder. Palm facing you. Then puts it right back down in a fist. Hi. Was that supposed to be a wave? Yeah, hi, Anon, you say, still trying to be upbeat, even though he's beginning to give you the willies. What are you up to? He stares at you some more without speaking. A long thin trail of drool begins to drain out of the corner of his mouth. Yeah, that's creepy, alright. Well, you say to carry on the conversation, even if it's a mite one-sided. I'm just fixing up this here barn myself. He slowly raises his chin to stare up at the barn. With a low slurp, he breathes a line of cool drool back into his mouth. Uh-huh, he mutters. Yeah, it's plumb difficult work, you know, but Granny Smith is just about done with a mess of lemonade, if you'd like to stick around for a glass. He seems to not hear you as he approaches the barn. He's still staring up at it with that terrible blank expression, but he seems really fixated on it now. He just stops before he bumps face first into it and takes a deep breath in, almost like he's sniffing the wood. Anon? You approach him slow, not quite sure what to do, but something's powerful wrong. Barn. Fixing. He mumbles. That's right, just fixing up the barn. Fix. Barn. Yep, you got it. Barn. That sure is a barn, yes sirree. I'll fix the barn. You brighten considerably. You're not sure what's up with this fella, but you'll never turn down a helping hoof when it comes to working around the farm. Heck, He even has those long hand stick things that cannot bend and hold stuff. Yeah, those. Might be right helpful with hammers and nails. Oh, you want to help me fix the barn? He nods without looking away from the cracking red wood. Well, okay. Well, I need to make real sure any loose boards are secure, and for any rotten ones get replaced. Want to do the nailing? He nods wordlessly. Well, here, Anon, knock yourself out. You nudge a bucket of nails close to him and raise the hammer towards his hand. With a shaky arm, he reaches out and picks up a single nail. Then slowly, like he's barely able to do it, he reaches out for the hammer. You can see he's trembling something fierce and that his skin is wet with sweat. You have enough time to think that maybe this isn't the smartest idea after all. He touches the handle of the hammer. All at once, Anon flies into motion. Darn near trips your teeth out your mouth as he snatches the hammer from you. He raises the nail and tips back his head, eyes wide and crazy. He lets out a warbling battle shriek and jerks his hand away, leaving the nail hanging briefly in the air in front of him. Before it can fall, he lets the hammer fly. It connects with the nail and drives it into the wood, then through the wood. His whole arm goes through the side of your barn. Anon! You cry. What in the hay? But he's not stopping yet. He rips back his hand, the hammer still clutching it, and attacks another plank, not even bothering with a nail this time. Wood splinters fly out in all directions as the board splits into 3 parts and falls useless to the ground. He grips the wood bits in his hand and chucks them between his legs to begin to scrap heap, barely missing your head. Then he moves to the next one, the hole in your barn growing rapidly. His arm swings faster, harder, splitting board after board before your eyes. The shock begins to wear off and you realise that you're standing there like a darn fool as he destroys part of your home. You rush to him in panic. What in Equestria is he thinking? Stop! You call, tugging at his shirt with your teeth. What do you think you're doing? He spins, arm still raised with the hammer in it. He's grinning a big goofy grin and his eyes are watering. I fix barn, he cries. You're not fixing it, you're breaking it. Wood, bad. Need new wood all over, he shrieks. Completely rebuild. You try to stay calm, but his expression is beginning to actually scare you. But it doesn't need to be rebuilt, just fix up a bit so you don't... No, 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 he says, shaking his head violently. No, no, no. I'll fix it all. You can just relax. I'll make it 4 stories. And big enough to store all the apples ever. And I'll paint a portrait of Granny Smith on the side, in post-impressionistic style. He's shaking all over, and you can see a vein throbbing in his neck. It will be glorious, he yells in a kind of roar. You start to tell him no again, but you're not quick enough. With a sharp set of manly giggles, he whirls back to your barn and drops the hammer. He now goes after the boards with his bare hands, ripping them right out of their beams and creaks and pops. A froth of spit is making foam on one side of his mouth as he continues to chuckle. You stare, both horrified and impressed as his pace increases, till there's a steady and rhythmic pop, pop, pop as boards fly over his shoulder and form a messy pile. Before you can even move towards him, he's already completed a whole wall of board stripping. As he starts next, you try to stop him again. Now wait just a cotton picking minute. I already did some of those. He looks over his shoulder without even stopping from his work. Not good enough, he gurgles. I make better. Make everything better, cleaner, fancier, faster. Still staring at you, he sinks his teeth into the next board and tears it in. Oh God! And tears him back with a growl. It pries free and he throws it away like a dog flinging around a chew toy. Must be perfect, he grunts through the wood. What's going on here? Is this some weird human thing? Is this how they try to attract mates or something? Of course, you'd be right flattered, but not like this. You never asked for this. He tosses another board and pauses mid-turn. As if in a daze, his eyes lock on that pile of boards he's making behind him. He gives a short gasp and lets go of a newly gripped board. Not straight, he hisses. Oh, good gravy, what now? He runs, arms flapping all limp at his sides, to the pile of wood. In a flurry, he begins stacking and straightening, whining frantically as he does so. An instant later, the pile goes from messy to perfectly stacked by size and wholeness. If he wasn't so scared right now, you'd almost say thank you. Almost. He looks up, seemingly content with his project at least, and spots your orchard. A gleaming grin rises to his face. Apples must be picked. Oh lordy, not your apples. Anything but the apples. He raises his hands and reaches out towards the trees as to go them all in, whole one by one. You have no doubt at this point that he'd probably try. You can see his knees knocking together with desire to run over there and begin working again. You have to do something, and fast. Anon! You yell, trying to sound urgent. He pivots in place, so sharply it looks like he might break his back. He's panting hard like an old dog, and you can see he's grinding his teeth. The other ponies, you say, suddenly inspired. They need your help. He looks dubious, but interested at least. You go on. Yeah, they're almighty busy and such. Lots of things to fix and make straight. I'm sure they're wishing they had someone big and strong like you, Anon. It's not in your nature to lie, and you feel a blush of shame rest your freckled cheeks. Still, desperate times call for desperate measures. He blinks at you, the first time you've seen him blink so far today. Then he whips his head around towards the path. Where? He demands. That way, you say, pointing off into the general direction of Ponyville. They're all that way. Without looking back at you, he begins to sprint towards the town. Your barn, woodpile, and apples are all forgotten. You breathe a sigh of relief as you watch his retreating dust trail. Good golly, I wonder what was that all about? You mutter. Then you turn back to your barn, and the scene hits you all of a sudden, all at once. When you're not ready for it, you sink down to the ground and lower your head. All that work. You hear the door slam behind you, and the clink of glasses as someone approaches. Applejack, honey, I got that lemonade for you. Granny Smith goes silent as she spots you, sitting with her hat in her hooves, quietly weeping of your newly wall-less barn.